Hi, everybody, and welcome. My name is Bill Peppard. I am going to be your physics instructor for Conceptual Physics 111 this semester. So I am here to try to take you through the orientation of kind of how to use D2L, where to find important documents, how to submit things, and how to get started. So we'll get into that. So we're going to jump in and kind of start with the plan. So again, this is Conceptual Physics 111. My name is Bill. If you ever need to get a hold of me, just call me Bill. So the purpose of this little video is to kind of introduce you to the course and make sure that you can find the things that you need to get started. And once you get used to it, it runs pretty self-sufficiently. So I'll do a quick welcome and introduction about myself. Then I'll get into more class information and talking about D2L and showing you where to click and where to find things, and mastering physics, which is our homework setup. And then at the end, I'll talk to you about what are some common traits of students that have been successful in this class in the past, and things that you can do to try to help yourself be successful. So the first thing I want to do is just to introduce myself. So my name is Bill Peppard. I am 47 years old. I've been teaching physics for 25 years. This is my second full-time year at Del Tech, but I adjuncted there for 6 years previous to that. So I'm married. I have 2 children. I enjoy watching Liverpool Football Club and the English Premier League of Soccer. So that's a little bit about myself. In terms of the class, let me get you into that. So this is conceptual physics. It's the kind of most introductory level of physics that we teach here at Del Tech, and it's for people that don't necessarily need physics for their degree in terms of like doing hardcore math to go along with physics. So it's more conceptual. But it does have some math in it. So let me take you to D2L. So just to kind of take you through this. So this is what my homepage on D2L looks like. When you log into your courses at Del Tech, you'll have them listed. So I teach 4 different physics courses. So this one is yours. So Physics 111 202, that's the online version of this class. So if you click on that, you'll come to the homepage. So the homepage has several things that you should take note of. So first off, it has my contact information. It also has my schedule for the fall. So Mondays, I teach from 8 in the morning till about 2 p.m. And then Tuesdays, I have student hours from 8 or 8:30 until 11:30 or so. And then I have class in the afternoon from 12 to 2:20 or so. So those are the 2 days that I'm on campus. Wednesdays, I also can have student hours. They're generally by Zoom, but if you need to meet me on campus, we could do that as well. So, but what I would say is I'm very responsive to email and to any other requests that you might have. So if you wanted to set up a Zoom during not these student hours, that's okay. We can make it work and fit for your schedule as well. So that's my information here. I'm just gonna, I'll save it that way. Over here is Mastering Physics. That's the link to where you're gonna go do your homework. That's a outside program outside of D2L. So you're gonna have to register for that. I'll talk you through that in a little bit. And then finally, you'll find announcements on this page. These announcements will come directly to you on D2L. So I sent this first one just basically introducing you and telling you some things that you might need. So I'll let you read through that at your own leisure. So once you go into the class, if you go to content, that's where I would say you should start. So if you go to the content page, it has the important and instructor important class information. So that's where I'm going to spend a lot of time kind of taking you through a couple different items. Above this, once this video gets done and recorded, I will import the orientation video right here. That's 1.0. So that'll go there and you'll watch this video first. So if you found this video, you're in the right spot. So you'll click that. So underneath that orientation video are lots of kind of informational pages that you can read through on your own. Again, I'm not going to read all these documents to you because that would be super boring in a super long video. But so it has kind of an introductory, just welcome to the class kind of important information. The topics and activity schedule. So again, if you click on one of these links, it'll open up. For my computer, it opens up in a separate tab. which is here, and that same tab is displayed on D2L as well. I'm not sure why it does that, but that's what it does. So I'm going to close out of that one. So again, it's just, watch the orientation video. That's what you're doing. The class is fully online, so there are no in-person meetings or mandatory Zooms that you have to go to. So you just are expected to work through the class kind of on your own, except for when you have questions. So feel free to ask questions at every moment you get one. Your grade, which everybody's always concerned about how they're going to be evaluated, is broken up into 3 main categories. Homeworks, which are mastering physics, which is like normal homework. It's just online on physics problems and questions. Ed puzzle videos, which are the lesson videos. So you're going to watch those and there are questions embedded into the videos that you'll answer. That makes up 15%. We'll be doing a lot of virtual labs and simulation activities, so that'll be 20%. And then 65% of your grade is based on the unit tests and the final exam. So I will spend some time discussing those and making sure you're aware. Again, it's going to be fun. Weekly reminders I send out, so like you will get a reminder every, for you guys, I think it's Sunday night or Saturday night, describing what is coming due that next week. So the videos you should watch, the homework assignments, if there are any homework assignments on mastering physics, the simulation labs that you should be submitting, and then any tests that are coming up and when they should be due. So again, if you have any questions or need my assistance in any way, just ask. One of the drawbacks of online classes, there are a lot of benefits, but one of the drawbacks is students feel isolated and don't necessarily feel supported. I don't want that to happen. So my philosophy as my role in this class is to help you be successful. So if you have a question, ask. That's what I'm getting paid to do. I get paid to make sure that you are understanding what it is in terms of like what the content is. And also, like, if you have questions about some of the technical things that are going on, like how do I submit this? How am I being evaluated? Just ask, okay? I am very open and honest, and I will explain what you need, okay? So again, if you are on campus, you can stop in. I'm in room 117B most of the time. I also have an office, but it says office hours. It should really say student hours. So student hours are just that. It's for students to come in and ask questions. If you happen to have time on these days that coincide with that, come in, and if you want to see me, we can meet. I usually just go to 117B because it's less formal, it's less loud. There's a lot of offices where all the science and math offices are. But just come ask for help. If these times don't work for you, then send me an email, ask a question through email. I'll respond that way. We can set up Zooms. I really feel like my job is to support you. So take advantage of my help when you need it. So if you had a question on a lab or a test, just like you would in class, if we were meeting in person, you would raise your hand or you'd get my attention and I'd come over and talk to you. It's the same thing. So just because the assignments are online and the lectures and videos are online, that doesn't mean that we don't have a dialogue if you need it. So, but I let you initiate that. So make sure you're asking questions when you need help. Okay. So going back to the content. So we've talked about kind of that document. Topics I'm going to get to in a second. Instructor information, you can read about me if you want. That's just, again, how I correspond with you. The syllabus, if you need to get to sleep and you're being an insomniac that night, go start reading that. Course policies, I'm going to highlight those, but the one that I think is most important to you guys that you're going to care about, how to get your textbook. So that's just a link to the bookstore. And then mastering physics, I'll come back to when we start discussing that. So going back to this over here, this is what the topics are. So if you click on, and I'll show you this too, if I click on topics and activities, it'll bring up this document. So this document is the entire class laid out week by week. So the first week of class starts on the 26th. That's week 1. The 26th runs all the way until, that week runs from August 26th until September 1st. So all assignments that you need to do need to be finished by basically midnight on September 1st. So if you're looking at this, these are the topics that are going to be covered in the videos that you're watching. So you have Edpuzzle videos 1.0, which is this orientation video. all the way through 1.4, which is kind of dealing with these ideas. So we're going to talk about science and introduction kind of stuff. There's going to be just one-dimensional motion, so position, velocity, acceleration, and then graphing motion. So that's the first week. For the assignments in green here, they represent lab activities. So there's a timing challenge where you're going to be doing a simulation, and you basically submit screenshots of your work. And then distance, time, and speed challenge, which is another one of those simulation activities where you'll take a screenshot of your success. And the thing is, with some of these, you can do it as many times as you need to. All right. So so that's the first week of information. If you look at the top, though, it also has kind of what other types of assignments there are. So the purple, highlighted purple, are your ed puzzle lessons. So that's like the lecture portion of the class. So you're going to watch those videos and answer questions that are embedded in those. You get scored on those grades. So if you don't get 100 on the question, so like if you miss something, it should be set up that you have the option to go back and redo it. So you can, I think, redo them up to 3 times. And there's usually 2 to 4 questions per video. They do add up. They're in the same category as the homework. Over the course of the whole semester, all the Edpuzzle questions add up to about equal weight as the value of the homework. So make sure you're watching those videos. It's where you're going to get your information to learn from anyway. So that's something you're going to need to do. Green, I mentioned, is the lab activities. In yellow here is the Mastering Physics homework. So your first homework assignment on Mastering Physics is actually due the 15th of September. So you have a little bit of time to get signed up for that. And then anything that's in blue is a unit test or a final exam. So if you scroll down, our first unit test is, again, in week 3. So week 3 it is due. So there isn't too much to do in the video watching of that week because it's kind of assessing what you've learned in the first 2 weeks. You have to kind of wrap up the Mastering Physics homework and you got to turn in that test. Okay. So this is all laid out for the whole term. It has all the assignments all the way through, and it is there. So like if you go match to D2L, like I'm on this page now, if I go to content, when you go to unit 1, describing motion, it has week 1, 2, 3 materials. So it has the Edpuzzle videos. It has the documents. Documents are sort of like the notes or handouts that you might see me working on in the videos. If you wanted to print out a version for yourself so you could write on or follow along, you could do it that way. And then the simulation labs, and I'll take you through each one of these real quick. So the Edpuzzle videos, again, they're just set up. Again, they have due dates and times, so you're supposed to finish it by September 1st at basically midnight. You click on the video, it'll start. You'll be registered in the class. It'll keep track of how you do. So you have those videos to watch. 1.0 doesn't get you any points because it's the orientation video, this video. So that's the Edpuzzle videos. If you go to documents, like I said, documents are like the notes. So this is the handouts that you would get in class. It's usually the copy of the screen that I'm showing during most of the video. Here there are a couple other example graphs that we work on, a position versus time graph and a velocity versus time graph. So those are there if you want to print them out. You don't have to, but I suggest you kind of work through the videos as I'm talking through them and try to do some of the work. It makes more sense. Finally, the simulations. So there's a video instruction of how to do the lab. Then there's the actual link to the lab. Then there's the submission. So the submission, you just take a screenshot. If it's a more formal lab and you have to, analyze data or make graphs, you'll do that. And then you can do it by hand. Like you can print out the document and write it out. These first 2 don't have any documents associated with them. It's just like a challenge and you take a screenshot of your result and then you submit it. So when you're submitting, this is really important, and I mentioned this in some other documents, I can't see in D2L HEIC files. So if you have an Apple phone and you're taking a picture, that's not going to come through unless you convert it to a PDF. So if you convert it to some sort of other more user-friendly or D2L-friendly type file format, that would be great. But the HEIC doesn't work. So PDFs, JPEGs, you could put it in a Google Doc, so you could like import it into a Google Doc and share it that way. So again, that structure is consistent throughout the whole course where we have Edpuzzle videos, documents, simulation labs. The simulation labs are always set up the same way with a video, the link to the assignment. If there is a document, it'll be kind of in this area, and then the submission, so where you turn in your work. The only things that are not up to date currently are the tests. So I have everything laid out in terms of the videos, the labs, the documents. They are all ready to go. I just have to update the tests. I will update the test prior to the test coming due. So like week 3 is the first test. So by the end of week 2, I will have the test up and have it there for you to print out and work. So what I would suggest to do on test, you print out the test, and then you just write your answers on the physical test. You scan it using your phone and submit it that way. So that's how you're going to take your test. So that's typically how D2L works. So all the units are the same. So the first 3 weeks are dealing with motion and describing how things move. The next weeks are on force. I'm in week, sorry. Unit 2 is on force. And what causes changes in motion. Unit 3 is in energy and its conservation, 4 waves and sound, and then finally 5 we finish up with electricity and circuits. Okay, so those are the 5 units that go along in this class. Those are the topics. All right, so getting back to the presentation part, and I'm trying to keep it moving. So this is an important document. Again, I basically send you these weekly reminders of what you should do, so you'll see those, but this document's always on the instructor's information page. All right, so some things that you are probably interested in, the grading policies. This is in the, I believe, the course policies document, but this is how your grade works. So tests in the final exam make up 15% or 65% total. The homework videos, and then the lab. So that's people are always wondering how they get their grade. So from the course policy, so there's a minimum of 4 unit exams. So we'll have 4 unit exams that'll be covered in the course. The material will be the material that I present you in the videos. It's, I always have a review before every test, so it's not a surprise what's on there. We'll practice and do several takes on things before you get to a test. There'll be lots of different types of questions. Some will have graphs, some will have problems, some will have definitions, some will have various things. So you're just going to work on those. But you can't retake exams. So you turn in your exam, you get a score for it. That's it. There's a final exam. It says it's optional because it essentially replaces your lowest unit exam score. So at the end of the course, this cumulative exam is going to replace the lowest of the 4 test grades that you receive. So if you do well on all of your 4 exams and you're happy, you don't really have to take the final, but that's why it's considered optional. But I would say you should, just because you can always improve your score. So if you're good, if you do better on your final than one of your tests, it replaces it. So everybody is generally happy about that. Okay. So let me take you back to D2L and show you the homework aspect, which is mastering physics and what that looks like. And then we'll get into the keys to being successful. So going back to D2L, sorry, the video is getting a little longer than I hoped, but it's an online class, so you're gonna have to get used to watching some videos. So I'm gonna just go back to the very beginning to make it easy. So if I come back to my course homepage and I go to the course, over here on the right, there's this icon, which is Pearson's. So Pearson's is the company, the book publisher that runs My Mastering Physics, which is what we use in our course. So, so one of the things with this this setup is you're going to have to get a book for the course. So the book, if you Google or if you go to where it says how to get my book, you can buy the book through the bookstore. People have done that. If you buy it through the bookstore, it has the code that you need, and you just follow the instructions in the video, and you'll be able to link your Mastering Physics book, the book in Mastering Physics, to this course, and it'll grade and it'll sync up. The bookstore is expensive, or more expensive than maybe what you can find if you go through like Amazon or another resource. But you need to make sure that the book that you're getting has an access code for Mastering Physics. If you don't do that, then you won't be able to join Mastering Physics, and it won't be helpful. So like buying a physical textbook, it might be helpful in terms of if you like reading the book, but it's not going to let you get to do the homework. So make sure that you either use the bookstore, which is the simplest thing because it'll definitely have the access code, or make sure when you're buying it online at some other site than the bookstore that it has access code that you can use and sync up. Mastering Physics does have a 14-day or 2-week kind of grace period. So if you don't have a code but you wanted to get started, or you're saving up money to be able to buy the book in whatever form or from wherever you like, you can use that 14-day period and get started on the homework and then not feel rushed that it's due in the 3rd week. So I'm going to just open up Mastering Physics here. It might look a little different because mine's the teacher version. I'm going to try to open it up as a student version. So let's see if I can do that. All right. So you will have a course home. This says instructor. Let me see if I can. I forget how to. Anyway, let me get rid of that. Move this up here. So basically, what you're going to do is you're going to see assignments. So if I just click on all assignments, it'll have a list of all the assignments. All the assignments have their due dates. They're all available now again, so you can get started on them as soon as you wanted to. So the first one is due on the 15th of September at midnight again. So it syncs up with what I have on that other thing. But if you click on the assignment, it'll bring up, here you go, student view. It'll bring up an assignment. The thing that's a little bit annoying with this site is it is all based on pop-ups. So you're going to have to disable pop-ups using whatever browser you use for this Mastering Physics site. Otherwise, it's going to be annoying. But it has questions here. So if I click the first one, so this is like a reading question. It says, when an object is thrown upward, how much speed does it lose each second, ignoring air resistance? So we don't know that probably yet, but you would pick one of these answers. So let's say, okay, so let me click that one and see what, or I'll say it loses 1 meter per second. This is not the right answer. So if I hit submit here, it's going to say incorrect, and then it'll give you maybe some tools that you can use to go find it. These answers are when they're multiple choice. They're generally in the book. Like you can find them in the book, or I will mention it in the videos at some point. So you'll get a red X that'll let you know you didn't get it right away. If you did get it right, you'll get a green check, and I'm not going to give you the right answer for this one, but you're down to a 50-50 chance. That's okay. I don't care. All right. So, and again, so that's like a reading question. Here, there's a think and solve here that's got a little bit more math in it. So it says a ball is tossed with enough speed straight up so that it's in the air for several seconds. What is the velocity ball when it reaches its highest point? So if you knew this answer, and I'll give you this one, when something reaches its highest point, it stops momentarily, so it's at going 0. Let me get the number locked. So that's 0, and then for units, it wants you to write in or type in the unit. So I was going to say 0 meters per second. So you got to make sure you get your units right. If you hit submit, I'll get it right. You get a green mark, and it's correct. So you would just continue through the problem and answering the questions and getting the right answers. Some of them are easier than others. Some of them are more conceptual, like this one. Other ones you might have to use some math, which is fine. But it's kind of, that's how it's set up. So you're going to answer questions and get credit. Those points add up to the total. You score whatever you get out of the total based on what you complete before the due date. So that's Mastering Physics. Just going back to the course and the home page of the course, if you go to the content, there are a couple documents to help you in the instructor important information tab. So when you get your book and you have your access code, there's this document. This is the course number, my name and my last name, and the course number that associates your book with this course. If you have that access code from the book, then it's easier. You just type in that code, and I think Brightspace will give you another code. But there's also a video here that can talk you through it. So I try to support you. If you are having difficulties, just set up, you can, how to register for my lab and Mastering Physics using LMS. We use what's called, we use D2L. D2L Brightspace is what the name for it is. So if you do that, you can watch that video and get the instructions there too. So if you do need help or you're having difficulty, you have your access code, but you can't get it to link, you can email me and we can set up a Zoom and I can walk you through it in person. So So that's one thing that I wanted to make sure I spoke about. So the last thing I want to do here in this video is get into what are like common traits that successful students are doing in my classes. So so these are like the three that I think are most important for online students. So and a lot of like I use the same kind of stuff in my regular in-person classes or hybrid classes, but what I would say is important, especially in an online class, is to stay up to date. So when I have assignments, laid out weekly, you keep up with those assignments. Some weeks have more work, some have less. I can't balance it out perfectly, but the idea is it shouldn't be too overwhelming. Like there are videos that you have to watch. The videos can get 20 to 30 minutes in length. And there's questions that go along with it, but that's like your lecture portion of the class. So it would be, if you had an in-person class, that would be what you'd be doing. So you want to make sure you stay up to date. If you get overwhelmed and you get behind, then it kind of snowballs and you feel like you can't dig yourself out of the hole, and that makes it difficult. So number one recommendation is stay up to date. The second one I think mentioned several times already is to advocate for yourself and ask questions. So if you have questions about anything regarding the class, ask me, okay? I am very accommodating. Again, I already told you my philosophy. Like my job is to help you succeed. If you aren't successful, I feel like I failed. So if you fail, I fail, and I don't like failing. I don't like that. So, and I'm sure you don't sign up for the class to fail either. So, make sure you ask questions. Physics can intimidate some people in the beginning. Like students are generally scared of physics because it has a very like daunting reputation. Like you have to be super smart to understand it. I would say if you have passed biology and you have passed chemistry or one of those, and you have passed some algebra classes at some point in your life, you can do physics. Physics is probably the most fundamental science in terms of it just relates to your regular life. So you're going to be having physical experiences that match up with these concepts. So you don't have to worry about, visualizing or thinking about what is in a cell. Like you're going to be able to relate to the content that we talk about, or you're not going to have to worry about how atoms are formed or things like that, or how compounds are formed. So it's very relatable content, which I think helps you see value in it, and you can use your common sense sometimes in physics and get to the right idea. So just make sure you advocate for yourself. When you get confused, ask for help. I want to help you. All right. The third thing is a little tougher in an online class, but I always tell my students, try to develop like a community to learn with. Learning anything by yourself independently is tough. So like if all your plan is to like watch the videos and do the homeworks and do the labs and turn in your test, you can be successful. I've had 100% students that can do that. I think you'll get more out of the class. You'll like the class more. You'll do better in the class. Most people do better if you have somebody else that you can bounce ideas off of. You can always email and talk to me or Zoom with me, but if you have somebody who's also in the class with you that use them as a resource too. Like when you go to assignments, work on them together. Like discuss what you think about this problem, or like see how they approached it. And those ideas, like I explain things a certain way, and I try to be as clear and direct as possible. But maybe the words that I'm using aren't registering with you, and somebody else has a slightly different way of expressing it, and you get their way. I am not the only person that can teach you physics. So there are other resources online as well, but I would say that I am your number one resource. So get a friend, talk through, help them. They'll help you. You'll stay more on top of the class that way. So I will probably put a chat of some sort or a thread in there where I will put out, like, hey, if you wanted a physics friend to help work on tests or assignments together, here you go. And then I'll let you guys post and share information with each other as you see fit. So again, the last thing I was getting to was I am probably your number one resource because I'm the person who makes up the tests. So like I know exactly what's going to be on there. I know how I've taught it. I know the types of questions, the things. And again, I'm not shy about like sharing this information with you. I'm very open about, okay, this is what's going to be on the test. You have a review every time. It shouldn't be a surprise, you know. So I'm gonna kind of wrap up here and stop that part. But what I would like to say is just welcome. Don't feel intimidated. I might look scary, but I'm very friendly and outgoing. And if you have any questions, please, please, please reach out. If you're just at Owen's campus at some point and you're walking around and you have a minute and you want to stop in my class and say hi and say, hey, I'm in your online class, I will, greet you and welcome you, and I will again try to help you with whatever help you need. So welcome. Don't be intimidated. Don't be scared. You're going to do fine. Lots of people are successful in this class, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's worth your time. I know you're probably required to take this course at some point. Most people don't just say, oh, I want to take a physics class because that sounds interesting, at least the first one. Maybe you'll take another one after this. But anyway, all right, I'll let you go. Good luck. Reach out if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you later.